Brooklyn Beckham pelts. Oh, no, you didn't. Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner and psychic for over 35 years. I am also an astrology student as of 2026. We are going to be talking about Brooklyn Beckham Peltz. Yes, he is hyphenated since marrying Nicola Peltz, his lovely bride, who created a wonderful rift between him, his brothers, his sister, and his famous parents, who none of us would know who the hell Brooklyn Beckham was if it wasn't for Sir David Beckham and Victoria Beckham. So everybody knows the World Cup is going on. That is not a surprise. World Cup madness. Yay. David Beckham has been tra-la-laing around at some of the World Cup games. Brooklyn Beckham did a commercial for DoorDash in which he jokes that he is not going to the game and throws a handful of tickets down. Spoiler alert, Prince Harry would have taken those in a heartbeat. And then a graphic comes up and it's to be continued. It's complicated. So what I want to look at first is what's complicated more soon. What is that? Is that a threat from DoorDash or is that a threat from Brooklyn? Let's take a look at it. I'm going to bring up the card view. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you are subscribed, please check your subscription because I magically lose a whole bunch of subs overnight. And then people tell me I was unsubscribed. So make sure that you're subscribed. If you haven't used up your hypes this week, use up some hypes on me and get me some traction over there and hit that notification bell so that you know when I go live and you know when my videos are dropping. So let's bring up the card view now and we are gonna take this apart. What is this business about? It's complicated. More soon. What is that? More soon. Reportedly, David and Victoria are devastated over this as well. And there's a bonus. So stick around to the end because there's a bonus with his sister as well. So what is this more soon business? 5 of Pentacles. So looks like Brooklyn is going to be working more so to separate himself from his family. I don't even know if he still uses the name Beckham. He may be getting rid of that name. This seems to be suggesting that. It's quite sad that a lot of people made the connection between Prince Harry and Brooklyn Beckham because this is showing the same symptoms on the way to destruction. Brooklyn, open your eyes and look at what's going on with Prince Harry. You've met him. You met him at a dinner party. Pick up the phone and give him a call and ask him truthfully how he feels about his world now, not being a part of the royal family and running out of money. Check with him. I think you're going to be very surprised at how he feels right now. This is our new storyline. So Royal Watchers, I do think that the Beckham Peltz feud is going to get a little bit louder as we move to the future. And something here, this Hierophant is very interesting because I don't think that this is David Beckham or Victoria Beckham. This is Nicola Peltz's father. This guy has a lot to say about these two young people. And I'm wondering, Nicola allegedly has a monthly allowance of like $1 million or something like that. Some outrageous number. I don't know if that's correct. I don't know our finances. But this guy, I think, wants this young man to pull his own weight. And one of the plans for that is that he completely abandon his life as a Beckham. That he completely write off being a Beckham. No money, no inheritance, no nothing from them. If he doesn't get rid of the name Beckham, I'm going to be surprised. I think Brooklyn Peltz is a real thing. Somebody mentioned him on one of the news programs. They called him Brooklyn Peltz, and it stuck out for me right away. I think he's going to drop the Beckham name, and I think he is under the impression that that is going to show everybody how serious he is, but it's not. It's going to close the door. David is hanging on to hope. Victoria is devastated about this, actually, guys. But the breaking away and trying, oh God, Brooklyn, like, you've had so many careers already. None of them have taken off. I just don't know if this is going to work for this kid. I don't know if it's going to work. Really unfortunate. If I were advising Brooklyn right now, what would I tell him to do? Because guys, we're going to be talking about this all summer, I think. So what would I tell Brooklyn to do about the rift with his parents? What does the universe want him to do? What is Valet of Cups? Right in the middle, unhappy. Because he has no agency, because he's not an emperor. Emperor in reverse. Hermit in reverse. He doesn't know enough. He's not fully developed. There's that rift, the Two of Pentacles, the Knight of Batons. He really wants to do something with himself. So this wouldn't be a directive as much as it's a warning that the disappointments that he feels with his family is because he doesn't have any agency over himself. He doesn't have any direction. He has almost thwarted their direction for most of his life. He was never a complacent and easy, I don't want to say he wasn't an easy child. That's, like makes him sound like he's Nancy Spungen or something like that. But Nancy Spungen was Sid Vicious's girlfriend. You can read her mother's book, and I Don't Want to Live This Life. It's an illuminating book in terms of defiance issues and substance abuse and those kinds of things. So I don't want to color Brooklyn Beckham like that type of a child, like someone who was disruptive in that sense. It was anytime his parents would say, well, why don't we give this a try? He's always like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound like fun. That doesn't sound, like a good thing. And that's why he's kind of like dipped into these careers, because there wasn't really any planning. He keeps trying on these characters that may work for him. At the end of the day, he was not prepared to launch. He should not have gotten married. I'm going to say that right now. He shouldn't have gotten married. He's way too young to get married, way too clueless to get married. And he just shouldn't have done it. He really is not fully formed. I firmly believe that, young people are not fully formed until their late 20s, maybe sometimes a little bit longer. Brooklyn is 27, I believe, or maybe just turned 27. It's really, I would tell him he has to go back to the womb, go back to mom. He can be mad at her, but go back to the safety and security of that and figure out what your next steps are. So let's take a look at Victoria. Her heart is just broken. Like, she's shocked that this child has become so vicious. How is Victoria doing? Queen of Cups. Yeah, good for her. Good for her. 4 of Cups in reverse. 10 of Swords. The Moon. She's going to hide it from us. And the 8 of Pentacles in her work. But then we have 7 of Swords. So Victoria, and I think this is a great tactic for her. She is leaning into gratitude. She's leaning into, I've got 2 healthy sons that are here. I've got a beautiful daughter who is ambitious and ready to launch into her own creative ventures. I can't convince the unconvincible. And I don't want to say she's going to say he's dead to me. She's really trying to live that reality, though. She knows that he is not going to pick up the phone. He's not going to talk to her. And over here, instead of being sad and weepy, which is, I think, what Brooklyn wants. I mean, Nicola certainly wants to damage Victoria. Well done. You stole her son. Victoria is going to just lean into the good things that she has. She's not going to let this drag her under the surface. It has dragged her under the surface previously, and she's not going to let it happen anymore. I think since the wedding, she has been very upset. The claim that she was inappropriate with him at the wedding, I think, was the nail in the coffin, so to speak. She's going to bury this, the bad emotions about this. She's going to bury it. She's getting back to work. She's going to work. And I do think that she's channeling some of it into design work. And there are some that are going to say that she is not being kind and not being, not allowing the folly of her son, but she recognizes a bad player for a bad player. And right now her son is a bad player. He's following the directions of people that don't have an entire bloodline to lose. You know, it's really an us against them kind of thing. That's how Brooklyn and Nicola have charted this relationship out. And he's becoming a pelts. He's becoming a pelts. It's really unfortunate. And poor Victoria, you know, she's realizing that now. How is David in all of this? How is Sir David? Sir David. How is Sir David? How is he doing? Let's see what he is. Queen of Cups. He is still actively upset. Look at that. We got the 10 of Swords again and the Chariot in reverse. He's not going to stop trying. There's something a little, almost like a French bulldog about David Beckham. He's just going to keep trying with like the best of spirits. Like, I'm just going to keep reaching out every now and then. I'm just going to keep trying to get in there. He's not going to give up. He's not willing to give up. And I do think he misses his son very, very badly. And I think, don't be surprised if we see that there are offers to meet up. We may hear about them. I don't think it is not in Brooklyn's best interest to promote them if he wants to be show everyone that how terrible his family is. David is reaching out and saying, hey, we're going to be here if you want to meet us, if you want to meet up, if you want to get together, just you, not your wife, just you. He's going to keep throwing those things out. And I do think those World Cup tickets were from his father. I think his father wanted him there. You're in town, et cetera, et cetera. Let's talk a little bit about Harper. the Beckham's only daughter, lovely young lady. I think she's 13 or 14. She's quite young, very, very pretty, very blonde. And she was seen delivering a handwritten letter to Brooklyn's house. Now, Brooklyn was not home at the time. He allegedly was in New York, and allegedly the sister was crying. I did not see that she was really crying in the paparazzi pictures, but Brooklyn has fired back that it was performative, that they did that to try and garner public sympathy, whatever. Was there any machination behind the scenes on that delivery of the letter? Devil in reverse, absolutely not. Was this all Harper's idea? Four of Swords. Harper is tired of sitting around waiting for her brother to get his act together. She went there with a show of strength, with a show of a steady hand. That was a really steady hand. Did Brooklyn read the letter? Did Nicola? I do think that Nicola said, this is more propaganda. It's more propaganda against us. It's more propaganda against us. Brooklyn, I don't think, has quite the wits about him to read a sincere, emotional plea and not think that there was some kind of machination behind the scenes. And I think his wife is really supporting and drilling that down. So what can we do for poor Harper? What was her main goal in all of this? King of Swords. She wanted to be the one who spoke for the family, who heals the rift and brings him back. I hate to say to heal, but bring Brooklyn back to heal where it's safe. Right now, he's out and about, and so he's out and about and potentially victimized by scary people that present as good people. And that's really what she was telling him. Mom and dad give good advice. Stick with them. So what is my advice for Harper? What should Harper do in regard to her relationship with her brother at this point where he's outed her as someone who dropped a letter off for performative reasons? Harper needs to just get on with her own work. Don't worry about saying anything else or responding to any response, darling. And Nine of Cups. I don't think that her wish is going to come true. Throw yourself into your work, darling. Be like mom. You're going to be just like mom and disciplined like dad. You're going to be fine. Just, you gotta let this one go. Unfortunately, I know you miss your brother, but you got to let this one go. Like I said, we're going to be talking about this, I think, all summer. So everybody sit tight. There's going to be Beckham family drama all summer. I feel bad for the Beckhams. I think they're an amazing family. I think they have amazing taste. And I've long said I would love to have dinner with them and the Gordons, because they are good friends with the Gordons. They have an amazing house in the Cotswold. They have an amazing house, I believe, in Holland Park as well. So it doesn't suck to be a Beckham, but I think Brooklyn is going to find that out soon enough. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Let me know down below what else you want me to read on this Beckham Brooklyn situation. Your comments definitely drive the content on this channel. So I want to make sure that I'm giving the people what they want. So make sure you hit like, share, subscribe, hype my video if you can. If you haven't, used your hypes up. And if you want to get some good advice for yourself, there is a link in my about section where you can book a private session with me. I've got lots of sales ready for the summer, and anything from text message readings all the way up to a full hour. And we can do like whole life planning and run charts and numerology and all that good stuff. So hopefully I'll see some of you on my schedule for this weekend. Thanks for now. I'll see you in the future.